Yes, sir. Let's get to it, baby. Hang with Beat Drop Podcast, episode 112. 112, man. We've been at it for over 100 episodes. You know, I know I've done this before, but I gotta apologize because the last time we had an episode was episode 111. Obviously, it's 112, 111. But that was in July 26, 2022. Now that's unacceptable. That's unacceptable behavior for me. You feel me? I love to pride myself of a person that's consistent, and I haven't done that with the podcast. You feel me? And in life, and I'm just kidding. But man, I'm so excited. Well, it's not. How can I say? Like, I love doing the podcast, man. I love talking. I love hearing myself talk. Imagine. I love hearing myself talking to headphones. Nah, but I love interviewing people. I love just having a podcast. You know, I remember when I started doing the podcast with my boy Raj, there was this energy for me to do it. And right now, I just feel like I cannot be myself as a person if I don't have the podcast. You feel me? If I'm not doing these things that I love to do, to create. Um, and a lot has happened and changed since, episode 111. I have this thing where I want things to be almost damn near like fucking perfect. But then I noticed that I overanalyze and then I just end up not doing it. And I think that's not good. I think that's not good for people that listen, people that subscribe, people that have hit me up. Even when I also stream on Twitch, you guys can also check me out on Twitch if you want to see me partake in some fun activities on Call of Duty and more. Um, but it's like, yo, what's up with the podcast? And I think for me, I just enjoy talking. I enjoy interviewing. I enjoy being myself. That sometimes you might not see that people enjoy that. You get what I'm saying? Like I just like doing it. I like having fun with it, and people seem to enjoy it as well. So I want to have this podcast just be amazing, and whether that means I have people that I'm interviewing or me just talking about stuff. I feel I am at my best self when I'm doing my podcast, when I'm doing the stuff that I love to do, which is my DJ stuff, my mental praise, which we're gonna get into that. I wanted to say it like that, we're gonna get into that just shortly. But like those things is what makes me happy. And if I'm not doing those things, then I am not being myself, and I am out of rhythm, I am out of touch, and I lack in my full potential of life. So yeah, that's that, man. And now that we're in January, I was kind of writing shit down and be like, what do I feel like talking about? But I feel like right now I'm just gonna be spitballing a little bit. But now that we're in January, it's crazy because sometimes, when I read the Daily Stoic or I read certain books, sometimes you had to unlearn things that you've learned. So what I mean by that is that like sometimes we could be so stuck in our ways, or so stuck in like, oh, this is the only way, or excuse me, or I already learned that, like I'm not going to learn it like this. And I think that's a bad way to approach certain things about life, because um and the reason why I say with January is because I know that New Year's resolution is like a big thing, right? Like it's like something that um even me myself, I've critiqued, be like, oh, it's New Year's resolution, like, you should be doing that every day. But then I was like, you know what, like, who am I to judge someone that wants to, find a way, find anything to have an inspiration to do good? I can't judge nobody because I've done New Year's resolutions, whether I follow them or not. That's my accountability. But I think sometimes we could be like, oh, that's not gonna work. But then I'm like, I kind of have to step back and be like, you know what? Everybody has different ways of motivating themselves and finding ways to do better for themselves. So with that being said, being that it's January and we're already a week in the new year, maybe a question to ask yourself is, how's the New Year's resolution going? Hopefully there is goals that you want to meet. I think that going back to honestly, the book Atomic Habits, I talk about it a lot, but that book is fucking great. Like it's there's so much gems in that book that I even have post-its here. Like, I'm not even lying. Look, I write all this stuff down. Like, you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And I think that that's probably one of the best quotes I've ever heard in my darn 29 years of life. And the reason why I say that is because, I was having a conversation with my barber. Shout out to my boy Los, Fresh Cuts. He better pay me for the sponsorship. No, but I was having a conversation with my barber, and it's like, we were just talking about how like everybody right now is like motivated. We're all like, we have creativity flowing, like we want to do stuff for ourselves. We're just in a space of like creating and all those things. And I was like, he was like, I'm working on a vision board, and I was like, yeah, that's dope. And I told him, I was like, I think the main priority we should focus on, and I'll probably talk about this before, but I just think it's great, but is our systems. Shout out to James Clear, because the thing is that we get into this place, right, where, and this is the example where it's like there's two teams, right? They both have the same goal, right? They both want to win the game. I don't think they're like, if there's two teams that go in it, unless you want the first round pick, but like there's two teams, whether it's in basketball, football, and anything in a competition, anything competitive, anything. When you're playing sports, the two teams want to win, right? Like they both have the same goals. So what makes one team able to possibly max their potential? And it's the team that has the right systems. So when I read that, I never thought about it like that. Like we all have goals, right? Like I think we all want to have successful relationships. We all want to have a great career. We all want to have a whatever it is. But then it's like, what is the system? What are the things that we're doing to create that space? You feel me? With that being said, there's a book that I'm recommending, and I just finished reading it, and it's by David Goggins, called Never Finished. Now, I don't know if you heard about David Goggins, but I read his first book, Can't Hurt Me, and when I purchased the second book, I didn't know if it was going to be able to top it, and I could really sit here and say that the second book is even better than the first one. Like a word that I kept seeing him using was resilience. So now I've even wrote that word and have it as a bookmark in whatever book or anything that I'm reading. So I think that's a great book that I recommend you guys check out. I love reading books, and I've honestly been happy because when I posted books, I've had people like reach out to me and be like, yo, like any other books you recommend, or hey, I'm reading this because of you. And I'm like, damn, like sometimes you don't even see the impact that you make on people when you're posting stuff. And I know sometimes we post random shit, but it's like to know that I posted a book and people have hit me and like taking pictures and be like, yo, I bought this book or anything else you recommend, and like, hey, I see you on this shit, or so that's a great thing for me to experience. But I recommend that book right now, especially going into the new year, because there's so much stuff in there. And one thing I love about this book, and what I like what David Goggins does, is the fact of how he's so transparent, how he's so honest about his journey. I think kind of segueing into mental praise, I think something that I've learned, especially more over the past couple months, is knowing how to express yourself at your truest form. You feel me? I know I've talked about my therapy sessions, and I know I've said like, yo, if you're doing therapy, I don't recommend it for everybody. I don't want to be like, you got to do therapy, but I'm just saying, like, for me I want to be the best version of myself every single day, whether that means I'm reading books, that means I'm doing therapy, I'm talking about everything, I'm working out. I want to do everything, my nutrition. I want to do everything in my power to make sure that I am at my peak every day. And I know it's going to fluctuate, but yeah, not to get off topic, my bad, I do that a lot. But yeah, I think that book is good for you to go into it, because he talks, and he's very vulnerable in his books, man. And there's some stuff that I'm like, damn, like I don't even know if I would ever put that in my book, if I ever, not if, when I have my book. You feel me? And you got to credit the man for being so transparent and have so much good stuff in there. You feel me? And as I said, going into mental praise, I wanted to figure out a way, and I'm still trying to figure out a way where I, encourage you to love yourself and to praise your mind. I've always, I know we always hear like, love yourself, working on me. And sometimes we might look for outside affirmations. And I think with mental praise, my goal is for you every day to praise your mind. That's why I call it mental praise, because, we praise a higher power, and to praise yourself. I think praising yourself and loving yourself, no matter what, is the truest form of just, joy, and I'm not saying I could do that every day, you feel me, but that's my goal. But I've noticed that when I praise myself, I got to be impeccable with my word. I got to say stuff, you know what I mean, to praise myself, like, hey man, that was good, or it's just the way you talk to yourself. So with mental praise, that's my goal, is to find ways, creative ways, fun ways, awesome ways, spectacular ways for you to praise your mind, and for you to enjoy the person that you are and who you were, and take that and become even better moving forward. Because I always say tomorrow's never promised. I always think that tomorrow's, you never know, man. Like, you just never know. So I want to make sure that, I'm not going to be here and act like I'm some health expert, or I don't, I'm just living my life the best way I can. And I'm just learning as I go. I'm not a perfect individual. I learn through books, through people, through experiences, through mistakes. So for me, I want to make sure that, when I step on this, when I step in the microphone, not but when I talk on the podcast, when I'm doing all these things, I feel comfortable in the person that I am, that I'm a flawed man progressing to be even better. Whoo! We dropping gems today. You feel me? See? Praise your mind. You feel me? Anyways, all right. I think that's good. I think we could end it like that. I think that's a perfect way to come into the podcast, into a space where we're going to keep moving forward, man. And I appreciate people that have asked me about the podcast, and the people that still support the podcast. But if you want to continue to support me, you could also follow me on at DJ Drop for, me as an individual. You could also follow the Mental Praise platform. That is going to be something that I feel like 2023 is going to be a great stepping stone into what it's going to become. And 2023, man, Mental Praise, Hanging with Drop podcast, DJ Drop. You could also, follow me at Twitch at Hanging with Drop. I want to do everything that I know I could. I want to create, man. I love to just be myself. And if I'm not myself, then what the fuck is we doing, baby? You feel me? All right, man. Hanging with Drop podcast, episode 112. Happy New Year. Hanging with Drop. I'm out of here, man. Peace.